Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today we are here to talk about a brand that I haven't discussed on this channel in a really long time. So if that is something you're interested in watching, then you're in the right place. We're about to get into it.
I'm a lone wolf. I'm a lone wolf. I'm a lone wolf. I'm a lone wolf. I'm a lone wolf.
So for those of you that have been around the channel for a little while, you'll know that we did a video called the Truthful YouTuber Tag. And in this video, we really discussed the ethics behind this channel, why certain choices are made the way they are, the intention that I put behind every video that I make for you guys. And one of the things I brought up in this video was the fact that we have not talked about Tarte on this channel for well over a year, because it was a purposeful decision that I made after some really bad choices that Tarte as an organization made. So we kind of decided together as a community that this would just be a brand that we would no longer feature here on this channel. Well, after discussing this and bringing this back up on the Truthful YouTuber video, I was really surprised at the feedback that I got from you guys. You guys said that, you know what, it's been long enough. We should at least stick our toe in there and maybe see what Tarte has to offer. And I thought there would be no better way than to kick off our inclusion of Tarte on this channel once again than with the new face tape Tarte Foundation. Now, this product is what started us nixing Tarte from our channel in the first place, so it's a little ironic that we've come full circle back to foundation once again. So one of my biggest problems initially with Tarte was their Shape Tape Foundation launch, the first launch that they did. Number one, they launched two different types, a mattifying type and a hydrating type. There were a lot of YouTubers out there that were reviewing both of these foundations, and I was very anxious to get my hands on them. Once I got my hands on them, I was incredibly disappointed. I did my deep dive into ingredients like I always do for you guys, and I quickly realized that the hydrating Shape Tape was just the hybrid gel foundation that Tarte used to sell, repackaged and put into another bottle. And then of course they jacked the price up to $50. They didn't tell anybody, and I thought that was incredibly underhanded, number one. Number two, when they were confronted with it, they basically said, yeah, that's what we did. And it was incredibly frustrating because I hated the hybrid gel foundation, as many people did. It was an incredibly unpopular foundation. So if they would have just told us that this was the hybrid gel foundation repackaged, it would have saved all of us $50 that had already purchased the hybrid gel foundation and knew that we hated that foundation. So I thought it was incredibly sneaky, very underhanded, but it was a way to get rid of product and make a quick buck on a lot of inventory that's been sitting around, because that foundation was not selling very well. For me, when a company is focused that much on financial gain and that little on their consumers, that's when a brand can actually become a little bit dangerous, and safety issues come into play, especially when you lose trust in a company to that extent. That was pretty significant. In addition to that, their shade range when they first launched the Shape Tape was less than desirable. It was pretty bad, and overall it was really just a cluster. And so after that, I just decided that I didn't trust them. I didn't trust their products. I was really, really nervous about recommending anything from that brand to my subscribers. And I just made the decision to be more safe than sorry, and that's how we got to the point that we were at. So after the truthful YouTuber tag, you guys said, you know what, let's give them another shot. So here we are. So what they've done is they're still selling the hydrating Shape Tape foundation, and they are still selling the matte Shape Tape foundation. I was shocked to hear that both of these products were still on the market. I thought if they were going to launch another Double Duty Beauty foundation, which Shape Tape, the concealer, is in that line. It's called the Double Duty Beauty line of products. And I thought if they were going to introduce a foundation into that line, that they would have gotten rid of the existing foundation in that line. But they didn't. And I thought that that was curious. And I think one of the reasons that they did, to be honest with you, is to maintain full transparency. So in other words, when I was researching this particular foundation, I was able to log on and look at all the existing foundation that Tarte has and compare formulas. I think they were probably concerned that there would be a lot of people out there that thought, well, they've just taken the matte version of the Shape Tape foundation and they've repackaged it and they've called it the new Face Tape. And that is not the case. This is a brand new formulation. This formulation has never been done by Tarte or anybody else out there. So this is a brand new formulation that is specific to this foundation and specific to Tarte. So that's good news. It was definitely a step in the right direction. So let's talk about the foundation itself. First, I want to kind of give you guys a close-up look at the component, take a look at the pump, take a look at the shade that I purchased. So let's get into that here. So I actually really like this component. I think that the Face Tape theme is mirrored well with this purple tape, like, you know, graphic that's wrapped around the lid. And I do love the pump. I love the fact that it has one of those airtight pumps that's just going to go up as you pump, so you get to see how much product is in the bottle. I do love that you actually can see the product and it's not tinted acrylic, that you have true product there, so you have a good look at the shade of the foundation. And this is also a little over a fluid ounce of product. This is actually 1.014 fluid ounces, so you get a pretty significant amount of product in here as well. Now the shade that I picked is light medium neutral. I tend to be in the light medium category and my undertone is neutral, so I went immediately to light medium neutral, and I was really happy to see that this was a great shade match for me. I'll show you guys what light medium neutral looks like just from like a swatch perspective here. So the one thing I can say about the shade selection is they do have 50 shades and there are 5 different undertones. So I think they really focused on making sure that they were incredibly inclusive this go around when it comes to the shade range. Again, this is light, medium, neutral, and it was a perfect match for me. So I think they are spot on when it comes to the light medium and what that should look like, and the neutral undertone and what that should look like. I can definitely speak to those two things and say that they did a really good job with it. So I found this was a great match for me personally, and I do like the fact that they've expanded this out to 50 shades. I think that is fantastic, and it actually pairs really well with the Shape Tape concealer and all of those shades that they have to offer, because a lot of people really like Shape Tape. I don't. I think it's incredibly drying underneath the eye, so that's not a product that I really enjoy. And I have to be honest, going into this product, I was incredibly concerned about the fact that it was considered a matte foundation. I thought that the matte foundation, the first go around with the Tarte foundation, was way too matte and way too drying for me. So initially I had some concerns about this foundation being way too drying for my skin type. My skin type is combo. I tend to be dry on my perimeter and a little oily in my T-zone. So, you know, especially during the winter months, I tend to be a little more on the dry side, and a matte foundation is just a big big old disaster for me. One of the things that Tarte is claiming with this foundation is that it isn't just a matte foundation. They're claiming it's a natural matte foundation. They're saying that it mattifies and hydrates at the same time. Well, anytime I read something like that, I'm always like, okay, we'll see how that goes. Can you mattify and hydrate at the same time? There are foundations out there that are able to pull that off with really good use of ingredients, including hyaluronic acid and different clays out there to help absorb oil while at the same time hydrating the skin. But can Tarte pull it off, especially after all of the train wrecks that have come along with foundation out of this company? So I took a look at the ingredients list, and you guys, it actually looks like a really good set of ingredients. It does include hyaluronic acid. It also includes some other things that are really beneficial for the skin. It includes an extract that's actually called a snow mushroom, and you've seen mushroom extract being used in a lot of brands, in a lot of different products, because there are a lot of benefits to extracting different proteins and polysaccharides from mushrooms. Origins likes to use a lot of mushrooms in their products, and Tarte has integrated mushroom extract into this particular product. Now, the type of mushroom that they've included in this foundation is a mushroom extract that includes polysaccharides, and what that does is it does assist with hydration a little bit, but it really has some good brightening effects when it's used over time. So this is going to be something that does help with hydration on the skin. In addition to that, it's going to help brighten up your face, which is really about cell turnover and helping that hyperpigmentation if you have any. So you are kind of getting a treatment over time as you use this foundation. So I love that ingredient. It also has apple extract in it as well, which is great for protection from like free radicals and the junk that's in the environment. It's really good for protecting your skin from all of that. It does also include hyaluronic acid. So it is got a couple of ingredients in here that are actually going to hydrate the skin. So after reading the ingredients list, I was definitely encouraged that this might actually be a foundation that I enjoy using. So I'm going to show you guys the application here and talk to you a little bit about how the product actually applies. So one thing I did notice about application is that I prefer to use a brush with this foundation. I love the way this foundation allows, with a brush, it really allows for a lot of movement. It doesn't dry down super fast. You can really buff it into the skin and really kind of buff it into your pores. I have some larger pores, so I wanted to make sure that I really buffed this into my skin so that my pores would not show up, and it did a great job at that. It definitely does not emphasize pores. It helps to minimize your pore size, and it does leave a very natural matte finish. It's not so matte that it immediately sucks all the moisture out of your skin and starts cracking around your smile lines and starts cracking anywhere where you have wrinkles. It doesn't do that. It really sits on the skin really, really pretty. It also builds very well. So on those areas where I have some additional hyperpigmentation and I wanted an extra layer of coverage, I was able to add product and kind of buff it out with either a beauty blender or with a brush, and it really builds pretty. It just kind of melts into the skin. Unlike a lot of matte formulations out there that tend to sit more surface on the skin and then they crack when they dry down. Your smile lines crack, your forehead wrinkles will crack, your 11s will crack. Really matte formulas can tend to do that, and they can be a little frustrating for mature skin or people that have texture on the face. It really can emphasize dry patches, any acne blemishes that you have on the skin. matte foundations are just horrible basically for anybody that has any kind of skin issues going on at all. And that is not the case with this foundation. It actually sits really well on the skin. It doesn't sink into fine lines and wrinkles. I don't think I would call the coverage like a full coverage. I think of something like the Jouer foundation. That Essential High Coverage foundation is so pigment heavy that it just blanks out the skin completely. When I think of a full coverage foundation, that's what I think of. And this doesn't do that. This still allows a little bit to kind of come through, especially on my skin. You can see some areas that are still peeking through. Now, for me, that's fine. I like a more natural finish, but I do think that this is like a medium with the potential to build up to a low full coverage. I wouldn't say it was a high full coverage foundation. I would say it's between a medium and, you know, the low end of full coverage. But for me, that's not a problem. But if you're looking for a full coverage foundation, then this one may not be the one for you. Another tip that I learned with this foundation is that less is more. Don't go in with a layer of it that's very thick, because you are going to see some cracking and some separation going on throughout the day. With this foundation, you really don't need a whole lot. A little bit goes a really long way. It has a beautiful slip on the face. It's not difficult to blend out, and at the end of the day, you end up with a very skin-like finish, and I really enjoyed it, you guys. I was incredibly hesitant and very skeptical going into this review for this foundation, but you guys, it wears really well. Even after 12 hours worth of wear, I still didn't have smile line issues. I still didn't have any issues with it sinking into my fine lines. My pores weren't emphasized. It wears beautifully for 12 hours. It does start to break down a little bit after that 12-hour mark, but it you know, it's kind of like normal foundation. The tip of your nose, your chin, other areas that are normal for you when your foundation starts to wear down, but it's really good up to that 12-hour mark. This formulation also says that it's going to hydrate your skin for 12 hours. I don't know that I noticed it was really like hydrating my skin, but I did notice that it didn't do anything to further dry out my skin, which when it comes to matte foundations, for me, that's a win, especially out of a matte foundation. So overall, you guys, this was something that I was incredibly happy with. And again, this is also, you know, kind of a clean formula. It is formulated without parabens, no mineral oils, no phthalates, no gluten. So they did kind of leave all that icky stuff out of this formulation. So overall, I think a lot of thought went into the formulation of this. I would say that's probably warranted after the disaster that the first launch of the Shape Tape Foundation was. You can tell that a lot of work went into this formula, and I think they ended up with a really beautiful product, you guys. So this is absolutely Erika approved. I definitely think it's worth the spend considering the amount that you get. It's currently retailing for $39, and again, you get a little bit more than a full fluid ounce, which is pretty standard. But I think it's a beautiful formula, you guys. I actually have it on tonight, and I think it looks really, really good. And, you know, this is after having it on all day and running around and doing all kinds of stuff. I powdered my nose, my forehead, and my chin right before I sat down to film with you guys. But other than that, I've had it on all day, and for me, I am pretty picky when it comes to foundations, and I can't tell you how shocked I was going into this review. I really expected to get up here and say, there's a reason why we don't talk about this company, you guys. See, I told you. And that is not what happened. I was very pleasantly surprised. So they definitely deserve some kudos on this. I think they did a great job, and Erika approved. Alright guys, well that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. If you intend on picking this foundation up, let me know. If you've given it a road test already. Let me know what you guys think about it. I would really be curious. If you have any additional questions, feel free to reach out to me on Instagram through DM at ErikaApproved. I would be happy to hear from you. In our next upcoming video, we're also going to have an announcement about our giveaway for the month of March, which I'm incredibly excited about, so make sure that you guys stay tuned for that. Other than that, I hope you guys are all very happy and very healthy, and I will see you guys in the next video. Mwah.